Are we alone? It's probably the biggest question we could ever ask. And for just 72 seconds on a quiet summer night back in 1977, we thought we just might have an answer. We picked up a signal so powerful, so clear, and so spot on for what we were looking for that it's still the best evidence we've ever had for an extraterrestrial message. So let's dive into this incredible cosmic cold case.
So, picture this. The story doesn't start in some high-tech control room. It starts a few days after the signal arrived, with an astronomer named Jerry Effman at home, just sifting through these huge stacks of computer printouts from Ohio State's Big Ear radio telescope. And amidst this endless sea of numbers, just the background hum of space, one string of characters just leaps off the page. It was so intense, so completely out of the ordinary that he just grabs a red pen, circles it, and scribbles one word in the margin. Wow.
Okay, so what exactly did Jerry Amon see on that printout? To really get why this was so mind-blowing, we have to look at the data itself and that incredibly brief moment when this whisper from the cosmos was caught. The first huge clue was the timing. The Big Ear telescope didn't move. It was bolted to the ground. It used the Earth's own rotation to scan across the sky. So any object out in deep space would pass through its field of view for exactly 72 seconds. And guess what? The wow signal lasted for the entire 72-second window. It got louder, hit a peak, and then faded away. A perfect match for a fixed source way out there in the cosmos. Yeah, this was definitely not just random noise. Now, the instrument that caught this, well, it was every bit as unique as the signal it found. This was not your typical, sleek, steerable dish antenna. Let's take a look at the massive and frankly kind of weird Big Ear telescope. Just try to imagine a structure that covers the same area as 3 football fields laid end to end. It was this incredible piece of engineering, built mostly by students, by the way, to be super sensitive but on a shoestring budget. It honestly looked more like a giant metal fence in a field than a telescope, but its strange design is exactly what made this whole discovery possible. So how in the world did this thing work? It was actually pretty genius. A signal would come in from deep space, hit that giant flat reflector, and then get bounced horizontally over to a big curved one. That curved reflector would then focus all that radio energy into one of 2 receivers, called feed horns. Then, a computer would just log how strong the signal was every 12 seconds. That simple, elegant process is what captured one of the greatest mysteries in modern astronomy. All right, let's get to the good stuff. Let's decode the signal itself. What was it about this 72-second blip that made a professional astronomer literally write, wow? Well, there were 3 key things that made the signal unlike anything we'd ever seen before or since. First, just the raw power of it. That code, 6EQJ5, that's not a message. It's a measurement of signal strength. The computer used numbers 1 through 9, and then for anything stronger, it started using letters. As you can see, this signal peaked at U, which means it was more than 30 times stronger than the normal background noise of space. That is a screamingly loud signal. It was the most powerful one Jerry Amon had ever seen. Second, and this is absolutely crucial, it was a narrowband signal. Think of it like this. Natural things in space, like stars and galaxies, are wideband. They're like the static you hear across an entire AM radio dial, noise everywhere. But the wow signal was narrowband. It was a powerful blast on one single clean frequency. As far as we know, only our technology makes signals that clean and focused. Nature just doesn't talk that way. And third, the frequency it showed up on. Oh man, this is the kicker. This wasn't just any channel on the cosmic radio. It was 1420 megahertz. For a radio astronomer looking for ET, that number is basically the holy grail. See, that frequency is called the hydrogen line. Why? Because hydrogen is the most common element in the entire universe. So scientists have figured for decades that if a smart civilization wanted to send a message, they'd use this universal fundamental frequency. It's like the one radio station everyone in the cosmos should know to tune into. The wow signal landed right on its doorstep. It was the right kind of signal at the right place on the dial. The detection was absolutely breathtaking, but it immediately sparked a brand new problem. A signal this important needs extraordinary proof. So the team had to find it again, and they had to figure out exactly where and what it came from. But right away, they hit a snag. Remember those 2 feed horns that collected the signal?
The way the telescope was designed, it was impossible to know for sure which of the two horns actually picked it up. This meant there were two possible locations in the sky where the signal could have come from, both in the constellation Sagittarius. It basically doubled the size of the haystack they had to search to find the needle again. So what could it have been? Well, over the decades, we've ruled a lot of things out. A secret military satellite? Not likely, since that frequency is an internationally protected quiet zone. A signal bouncing off a piece of space junk? Nope. The 72-second profile of the signal doesn't match a moving object. A comet? That theory got floated, but it was pretty much shot down. There weren't any known comets in the right place, and they don't make signals like this anyway. Every earthly and natural explanation we've come up with has fallen apart, leaving us with two wild possibilities. Some totally new kind of natural event we've never seen before, or, well, something else. And that brings us to today. Here we are, with telescopes that are literally thousands of times more powerful than the old big ear, and yet the silence from that patch of sky is just deafening. The case of the WOW signal is still stubbornly, frustratingly cold. The hunt to find that signal again started almost immediately, and it has never really stopped. For almost half a century, astronomers have aimed some of our planet's most powerful instruments back at that spot, dozens and dozens of times from observatories all over the globe. And the result is always the same: absolutely nothing. The signal showed up once, and then it was just gone.
And that right there is the heart of the whole mystery. If this was some intelligent civilization trying to make contact, why would they only transmit for 72 seconds and then go silent forever? Was it a one-time thing? Or maybe it was something like a cosmic lighthouse, a powerful beam sweeping across the galaxy, and we just happened to be in its path for one fleeting moment. We just don't know. In the end, we're left with this perfectly cautious, perfectly scientific quote from the Big Ears director John Krause, writing to none other than Carl Sagan. The signal ticked every single box. It had all the characteristics you'd expect from a real ET signal. But without a repeat performance, without more data, it's just that, a highly suggestive clue. A 72-second cosmic anomaly that still has us all looking up at the sky, wondering if, just for a moment, someone out there said hello.